Okay, so going to this is part 7, September 4th, 2017. Actually, it's probably September 5th already now. But anyhow, this part 7 in this update or intel brief or whatever. Wow, they've thought so much of me, they're actually circling back lower and back around again. That would be our night watch helicopter again. No, it's only when I turn this thing on. As you can hear. Hang on. So anyway, yeah, he's hovering. He's staying right above me now. Whatever. Anyway, all right. So what does this all have to do with divide, keep separated, and control? Well, as we were told, the crews of both ships, and he's circling back around again. Who cares? I'm just going to talk to it. The crews of both ships were not allowed, eventually, to talk to one another. There's your example right there. So there's your example right there, people. They're not allowed to talk to one another. And that decision, I don't want to say who made the decision, but people, as many particular videos or articles or whatever, that the main shill, I call him the main shill for that, because I mean, even tells you more or less a little of his background to kind of make him more credible, but I'll keep my statement to myself on that, because, well, that's just more in your advantage, isn't it? Anyhow, so as far as what I call the main shill account on that, he was stating that they could not talk to one another. And of course, later to come to find out, I've actually read that elsewhere too, and confirmed it a couple more times after that. So that was a stay. So anyhow, people, he never once asked what I would consider to be relevant questions. Never, not once. As official sounding as he made himself sound, as official looking as his account was. Don't forget that, people, when you're looking at the shill accounts, this is how you're going to have to tell them apart. Okay, I can't tell you everything because, all I have to do is change it, and then I wouldn't be able to tell. But, you just keep at it. You'll be able to tell. All right, I'll give you one maybe. A lot of times, see, they're trying to make themselves look professional. I think I already said that already. And look at the quality of the channel itself, or the account itself. Very professional. Everybody always seems to, they're so popular. They keep getting all this response and all this attention and all these videos and all this information just tends to keep flowing right into them. This was sent from a viewer today from from Europe. This was sent from a viewer today in Wisconsin. This was sent by one of my viewers in I don't want to say that. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Okay, so they just magically appear on the scene. Look, people, use your head, use your common sense. They magically appear on the scene. And all of a sudden, they're this smash hit, this popular channel that everybody is sending all their material to. Why wouldn't they upload it themselves if they had all this stuff? And all of it happens to be this amazing. Sometimes it's like it's actually too good, to be true. But it's like this amazing footage, one of a kind footage that's like, nobody else seems to have. And it all comes flowing right into them. Now, I have my own words on that, but people, come on. Now, there's one way that you can remedy that, but I sure as hell I'm not going to say it on now because I let them figure it out anyway. But see, that is, well, that's two ways that you just have to, it doesn't matter what they do. They'll always be identifiable, and you can always use your common sense to tell. And they can't wiggle their way through everybody's common sense. They just can't do it. So use your common sense. He never asked any of the relevant questions that should have been asked. I'll give you just maybe one or two. The first one, he kept, the whoever's, see, they're lying, they didn't do this, they did this, they didn't do this, they did this. They act like they're on your side when sometimes nothing could be further from the truth. This is what people are up against nowadays, and it's just sad. I mean, why do people have to do that? But it was the route, where they had gone, who's lying or whatever. How about this one, okay? If you're aware that someone had come out and admitted, actually it was actually, I caught it from several sources, and there was more than one individual that had stated that there was nukes buried under the seafloor in certain locations, but they were like all over the world apparently, or were currently being done, or depending on whichever source you viewed or looked at or heard from or whatever. Well, never once, not once, did I hear, because after a while, well, maybe they did later, I don't know, but while it should have been asked, let's just put it that way, did this shill ask what was the U.S. ship doing off the waters of, I think it was Japan? What was the U.S. ship doing there? All the focus was on it was like a ship from Japan, but it was like a crew from the Philippines or what have you. I'm not sure, but people, if there was a vessel that was hanging around the U.S. coast, it would baffle me indefinitely if they were just allowed to do, that close to the coast and going up and down, at least as he said. And if they didn't respond, I have a heavy feeling that they'd be fired upon, frankly, by, if everything was on the up and up, of course, which it's, easily, everybody can easily see is not. But if everything was on the up and up, they'd be fired upon, especially if they were doing something like that. Well, and then if they were fired upon and they were hit, now all of a sudden that hole, if that is a real picture, and if that, let's just leave it at that. Now all of a sudden it's looking a little more realistic. Now all of a sudden it's looking a little more believable and as to what happened. But this so-called former, well, if my memory serves me correct, I'm not sure it does at the moment, but if it does, could have been, maybe, possibly, maybe. Or we could even say, hypothetically speaking, of course, might have had some kind of former doings or something with some kind of, investigative something, with some kind of investigative department of the military or something. But if he's that good, that should have been the one, if not the first, or one of the first questions that was asked. Well, you know, no, apparently, you know, in the world of, in that world, you know, nobody's an angel. So what was the, you know, it's already clear what the other ship was doing. And, you know, I don't know, this is just my feeling. There's a, you know, very good chance that if it was there, that it could have very well just been a great big prop, or might not have even hit it at all. You know, could have been simple issue of just, you know, they got hit because they may have got caught doing something they weren't supposed to be. I don't know. I don't know. That's just, you know, could be. It could be, you know. But, you know, I always say that if you ask the right questions, you'll get the right answers. But this former, you know, expert of whatever, again, I don't know, but it was something to do with, you know, what I was saying. Never asked the, as good as he says he was, never asked the right questions. And there was other ones too, just like that one, that I was like, what are you guys doing? And then in the end, that trick gets pulled, the old intelligence trick that I was telling you about, that's what I call it, you know, or the, you know, divide, keep separated, and control, because that's exactly what they're doing. It just seems a little, you know, let's just say if that, you know, if it is a real possibility, if that ends up being what is at hand, or what was at hand on that particular day, then that is not good at all, people. Not at all. And that's just what not only makes me very concerned, it just, you know, it just makes me very sad as well. But I'll be back in this. I'm just going to wrap this up real quick here, and it's going to be part 7 or 8, I'm not sure, but I'll be back real quick to wrap it up here.